We all know that racism is an infection that has infested our world, making it an unfavorable place to reside in. Incidents like in today's video will serve as a reminder of how corrupted the world is even in the 21st century. Some of these racists have resorted to extreme measures like even going on killing sprees. A racial separatist, Russell Orlando Courtier, he has been accused of racial bigotry in crashing into and killing an African-American teenager, Larnell Bruce Jr. He was charged with murder, hit-and-run driving, and failed to perform his task as a driver. Russell was not any ordinary man. He was a part of the gang European Kindred, a white supremacist one with all racial men. He encountered Larnell at a 7-Eleven convenience store, where Russell and Larnell got into a dispute in the parking lot. They got into a fistfight, and the reason why they got into a quarrel in the first place remains unknown. Although they had their own weapons on spot, they did not use them and went separate ways. Initially, Russell and his ex-girlfriend Colleen Hunt were in a Jeep. Colleen Hunt encouraged Russell to hunt and chase Bruce. Later that night, the police were informed of a hit-and-run case and spotted Bruce laying down hurt in the crime scene. Bruce later died at the hospital. David Hannon states that Russell chased Bruce in Colleen's red Jeep not once but twice, while Russell's lawyer backed him up, saying Bruce was the one who initiated the dispute amongst them and that he started punching him out of nowhere. But the CCTV footage shows Bruce simply standing initially and was not doing anything that was stated. Finally, Colleen Hunt was sentenced for 10 years for first-degree manslaughter, abetting and aiding Russell in killing Bruce. Russell was sentenced to lifetime imprisonment with a chance of posting a parole after 32 years. Next is the legal proceeding of yet another propagator of racial division. Travis McMichael, a 36-year-old supremacist based on race, was convicted of murdering a 25-year-old man, Ahmaud Arbery. For a matter of fact, Travis was not the sole preparator, but his father and the neighbor, Greg McMichael and Roddy Bryan, respectively took part in this felony too. They were collectively charged with 1 allegation of malice murder, 2 aggravated assault, 3 counts of felony murder, criminal attempt to commit a felony, and a lone charge of false imprisonment. Is an explanation needed? Greg and Travis clutch their shotgun, a Remington and a .357 Magnum revolver, and embark on a chase in their pickup truck, which was when they spotted Ahmaud Arbery running in their neighborhood in Georgia Port City, while their neighbor Roddy also joined the pursuit.
Run, correct?
I could have, but I also wanted to make sure that everything was okay down the road and see what was happening. I wanted to at least ask him what...
And began to capture on his phone. They then tailed Arbery persistently and attempted to falsely imprison him. During the chase, Arbery was sprinting empty-handed. All he aimed for was to run away from the defendants. He did not scream or make any sort of menacing sounds. He just recurrently tried to run for his life. Although Arbery switched routes multiple times, they persisted to follow Arbery. And finally, Travis pulled his shotgun out and aimed at Arbery. He tried to defend himself until Travis took a shot at Arbery's chest. Arbery did not give up. He tried to reach for the gun during the skirmish, but Travis remained unfazed and fired 2 more shots into Arbery. He ended up laying dead on the pavement. This was accounted as their first aggravated assault, while the second one was an assault using not 1 but 2 pickup trucks, one driven by Travis and the other one by Roddy, and they continued their pursuit, trying to entrap and confine people against their will. They were involved in such activities due to their beliefs in different races. They target their victims based on their race. They were also charged with attempted kidnapping. The defendants openly stated that they wouldn't have taken action against Arbery if he were white. After thoroughly going through Travis's social media usage and texts, it has come to light that Travis views black people as criminals, and he endorses capturing and killing them. The constant use of racial slurs in his texts was also considered as substantial evidence. He expressed his views on black people as they ruin everything, and stated multiple times that he felt elated that he was not a black person using a racial slur. Before sentencing the 3 offenders, the judge presented a compelling speech expressing how awful this killing was. All of them were sentenced to lifetime imprisonment and to serve their time in the state prison. This was when Travis got apprehensive for his existence. Travis's lawyer stated that Travis has been under numerous threats that are compelling him to serve the time in a Georgia state prison, potentially facing a death penalty, which can leave Travis susceptible to vigilantism. What appears amusing is that these racial extremists are fearful of being mobbed. Gregory's attorney made an appeal stating that Gregory McMichael should be retained in the federal custody in consideration of his health status. However, the judge agreed and denied the request and commenced his sentencing. Surprisingly, the defendants looked despondent and expressed signs of sorrow. Who knew these cold-blooded murderers had a hint of guilt in them? Nonetheless, I am positive that it is only because of their sentencing and not because they actually regret their actions. The long list of sentencing continued. The sentencing in a nutshell: Travis was sentenced for life imprisonment without the possibility of parole and sentenced an additional 30 years. Gregory was sentenced to a lifetime imprisonment, devoid of the opportunity of posting for a parole. And finally, William Bryan was sentenced to lifetime imprisonment with the prospect of posting for a parole after 30 years with an additional 35 years. The judge pronounced a definitive judgment that would never let them set foot outside the cell ever again. Racism can be expressed either way, a white individual being partial to a black individual and vice versa. This is a case in Fresno County Superior Court, where the case is the latter. Muhammad Corey was arrested and charged with a first-degree murder, 3 second-degree murder, and 2 counts of assault. Muhammad continued to shoot randomly targeted white men on the streets. This shooting spree went to an unhinged end, killing 3 white people. When the court questioned Muhammad Corey, he stated that he killed white people because of his hatred towards them. Corey was staying at a motel in Fresno where he got into a fight with one of the guards and shot him dead. He then went to a 7-Eleven rooftop to hide from the police. He then cleverly disguised himself and roamed the city. Little did he know that he was the prime suspect police were chasing, which eventually aggravated him and commenced his killing spree. He shot 17 people, 3 dead, and the 3 men missing. During the hearing, he showed no remorse. He was caught giggling and blowing kisses in the courtroom. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without a possibility of parole. This 19-year-old boy, Peyton Gendron, was brought to the hearing in the Buffalo City Court. Peyton was accused of killing and targeting 10 black people and harming 3 others. He was charged with multiple felonies at the state level. Peyton described himself as a white supremacist in his manifesto, who aims to create violence amongst the opposite race. The shootings are being investigated as a hate crime, like how the KKK operates. On that dreadful day, Peyton decided to go to a supermarket at Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo, New York, which was a major black neighborhood. He was armed with multiple ammunition, guns, rifles, and was wearing full body armor. He attached a headcam to record and stream the entire incident on the streaming platform Twitch. He shot 4 people in the parking lot, killing 3 of them. He then got into the supermarket and shot 8 more people, killing 6. During the end of the incident, he began to yell racial slurs. During the hearing, many of the victims' families showed up to talk and express how much this incident affected them. While one of the families almost went for a punch at Peyton, he admits that he regrets what he did. Well, he at least showed a tinge of remorse. Peyton was sentenced to a lifetime imprisonment without parole and a possible death penalty. That is it for the video. What are your views on this? We hope this video made you all realize how much racism is injected into people's systems. What are your opinions on these cases and the judgment provided to them? Do you agree with the final judgment produced by the court? If you liked this video and want to watch more videos like this, consider subscribing to our channel and hit the like button.